I decided to splurge. I went out to Texas Roadhouse and got a steak. It was okay. Since the last video I was mentioning that I've strained, pulled, injured some muscle in the back of my left leg. So I'm hoping that eating that steak and a little more rest allows that to recover. Because like I said, I can still work just fine, and I do have a few days off, so yay. Since, Memorial Day, and they didn't really need to do much production this week, so I just used some vacation days. So yay. So that comes in handy. But yeah, I can walk just fine. But any sort of jogging or even just a few minutes on the elliptical, it was like a shooting pain in my left leg. So I strained something or pulled something. So I decided to go get a steak and just, it's a nice thing to do on rare occasions to splurge like that. We'll say there was a woman a couple tables over I saw there with her very small son, probably about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Kept saying dad, and daddy a lot. So, yeah, I could just think about my son. 'Cause that's like anytime I hear a baby crying or see a kid, especially if they're saying daddy or dad, I just think about my son. I love my son very much, and I miss him. But I'm very grateful to God for him, and I'm just glad he's safe, happy, healthy, and well taken care of where he is. Then again, I also then started to wonder, as that kid was there with his mom by themselves, I was like, so where is Dad? When was the last time that child saw his father? Was it even his father's choice? Then at one point the kid started to choke, and the mom had to do that back patting thing. So felt a little bit worried about the kid on that, but yeah, not my kid, but just makes me think about. But yeah, like I said, no matter what though, I am grateful and happy for my son, even with the way things turned out, and above all, I'm just glad he's safe and happy where he is. That being said, I can't see myself ever wanting to be with a woman again, because I feel like that's what happens right before you have your children taken away from you. Modern marriage isn't exactly a good thing. I can't really say there's anything men really get out of it. Well, you have someone who treats you like shit, you can be a legally binding contract forcing you to be with an abusive, adulterous partner. Most people have a huge struggle, which I can definitely relate to through most of my life in terms of even having any women to date, let alone marry to begin with. And even then, like I said, I never want to go through another divorce ever again, nor do I ever want to be stuck in a marriage like I was with someone like my ex-wife ever again. Nor do I ever want to be worried about how my child's being treated while I'm at work, or to have another child taken away from me. I feel like the only result that comes of a marriage is you're going to have kids, and those kids will be taken away from you. Aside from that, you're going to get divorced. That's the only thing that happens after you get married. Aside from that, you have someone that you're legally bound to that disrespects you in your own home, never gives you a moment of peace, always is yelling at you and insulting you and telling you how worthless you are and how much they hate you and wish you were dead. So, and on top of that, it adds a lot of extra bills and expenses. And nowadays, I feel like a lot of people feel like they're just scraping by. I can't complain. I literally just went to Texas Roadhouse. So. But like I said, it's okay to splurge sometimes. And like I said, I'm hoping eating that steak helps me heal whatever the fuck it was I hurt in my leg. Also stopped by the store, got some Epsom salt. But yeah. It's just... Oh, by the way, I was also thinking, Satoshi. If Satoshi were to, be alive at the end of this game, he would definitely beat Shion to death with that baseball bat. But enough about peanut butter jelly time. Let's hop into the game, shall we, guys? But yeah, it's nice weather out there. Kind of cloudy, maybe it'll rain. They're forecasting this year is going to be a very active hurricane season. So that'll be interesting. I wonder when the first hurricane of 2025 will be. And I wonder how many Category 5 hurricanes will we have? Then again, I'm still looking forward to either Canada or Alberta becoming the 52nd state of America. I don't know if all of Canada would, or just Alberta. But I'm looking forward to that becoming the 52nd state of America. In the meantime, let's play this video game, guys. Continue. The day of the Watanagashi Festival. June 20th, 1982. 1:40 p.m. That being said, it's less than a month till that day of 2025. Do any of you guys have any plans for the Watanagashi this year? What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon, I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. I had a light headache, so I lay down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I had already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko. I didn't have anything to do with myself. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd have to deal with. Does ibuprofen not exist in the 80s? June 20th, 1982, 5:02 p.m. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-dam activists. But in actuality, after your brother-in-law and his wife died, they didn't give a fuck about any of you anymore. They looked down on you because you abuse your children or nephew and niece. Because you're fucking assholes. And also drunks. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute, but since then everyone just left them the fuck alone and didn't care. They all had issues with you because the way you treat the kids in the house that you inherited from your brother-in-law. But people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her. I mean, they do, but for other reasons. Reasons you actually deserve to be hated for. And so she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers. Okay, even without this, you deserved the shit. That being said, not helping. And the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. Again, they don't hate you because you relate your last name. They hate you because you're a bitch. And because you treat everyone like crap. And also because, how you treat the kids in your house. What came first, their poor relationships with the neighbors, or her husband's affair? She didn't know herself. I'm pretty sure Tepe was doing that shit for years. You just didn't know till now. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. So it's not that he wanted a girl that was hotter than... Even though I haven't seen what Mrs. Tamale looks like. It's more so just this other person actually is kind and... I don't know, not a total bitch. Not that Tepe's much better. We've seen what Tepe's like on his own. He's not a good person. She in turn claimed that the relationship with the neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged their reputation. I mean, yeah, he didn't help either, but again, I would say aside from you being a complete fucking bitch, well, that's definitely number 2 on why everyone hates you. Number 1 is it's kind of obvious that you're abusing the children in your household, and that's not a very respectable thing to do. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened at almost the same time. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him from the entrance. Okay, so why would he come home at all then? I mean, this still seems healthier than my marriage, but still. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce. Their marriage being as rotten as it was. But he secretly knew the reason for that too. He was the fortune his parents had less. It was. His aunt had hidden their bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband to have access to them. So her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out he stole some money from her purse. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. I can't help but feel that this family dynamic is much less healthy than the beginning of the video game The Binding of Isaac. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money because his family had been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the dam project. His parents had probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. After someone from the financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. Honestly, at that point, if I was Satoshi, I'd be like, you know what, just take the money. We'd rather not have anything to do with you guys. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor their aunt treated the two siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship. So if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had thought that at first, but it turns out, if someone's a really terrible, awful human being, well, they're still going to be a terrible, awful, horrible human being. But even after they separated, his aunt still had a short temper because she's a bitch. Another woman had stolen her husband. I mean, is it really stealing if you weren't really taking care of your husband at that point? You know, you're a really terrible wife. Not that he was a good husband either, though. Both of you are really horrible people. The villagers must have been talking behind her back. Probably because you're beating and abusing your children. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Yes, I'm sure the only way to fix the embarrassment is by abusing children and physical violence. Like that's since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred toward the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. I don't blame her. Granted, it makes an issue for Satoshi, But again, I don't blame her. And the only reason Satoshi would be remotely upset with this is because it makes his life harder. Satoshi told her to behave in their aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Understandable, but again, inconvenient. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace. It's a very mature thing of him, but that being said, let's be clear. Neither of them, this is not a good home for even an adult to live in, let alone someone of teenage years. But he couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. In general, I'm against the idea of CPS. I feel like a lot of times that stuff is overly involved more than it should be. But if there was ever a time, this. Satoshi found something in the trash. It probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come and pick it up. He passed by this street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk of some kind, likely to be in offices. Somebody must have dumped it within the past 2 days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. She'd have Satoshi help him bring a chest home just a few days ago. If he told her about the desk, she'd want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in drawers, so she'd also open them to check before carrying the thing home. I mean, that is sensible. Also, the logical thing would be to remove the drawers and doors first. That way it reduces the weight of the desk, and so the things aren't flying open as you're carrying it. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. June 20th, 1982, 5:51 p.m. Hey, old pal! I see you showed up again this year. You'd better get ready for us. Gwa, you're as peppy as ever. Oh? Is she a newcomer? Uh-huh. This is Rena Ryugu. Don't underestimate her. She's good. Oh, no, I'm not. Nice to meet you. Yo, you too. I brought all kinds of prizes this year. There'll be a real battle to win. Try and tick them all if you can. Rena tends to dote on cute stuff. Yeah, that stuffed animal looks just like her type. What? How so cute. I want to take it home with me. Hey, the booth isn't open yet. Whoa! Ha 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 ha! Stop it, Rena. He says the booth isn't open yet. You can run him into the ground once he opens it up. How? It's mine. I'm taking it home. Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everybody laughed. Everybody, except Satoko. She was standing by herself some distance from the crowd. You know, I feel that the logical reason, thing that you should be thinking, if you see somebody with this facial expression, should be they're going to kill themselves. Make you guys do an eye workout. Her eyes looked dull. Meep. What is it, Rika? Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up. Forget about your worries today. Let's just have fun. Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change. Satoko, your evil aunt isn't around. I know that. So why don't you have fun? Nipa. 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 Oh. Sorry, but I don't feel like it. Could you please leave me alone? Why aren't you smiling? Satoko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt, no matter how fun the festival was. Once she went home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad, and shout at her so loudly the neighbors would hear. How can she have fun, even just for today, while knowing all that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika. So, Satoko, if your suffering ends today, will you smile? Satoko gasped. She thought that Rika might do something to help, but soon after she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? Or does Rika know the future somehow? Because of Rika? How? Satoko knew that there was nothing Rika could do. And so after just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again. I think Rika might have had her own separate plan to snuff that candle. I just think everyone kind of, underestimated how stressed out Satoshi was. Like, it's definitely important that we take notice of how much Satoko is suffering, but Satoshi is... I think even the people that claim to, love him, didn't exactly notice really how bad things were. And even then, even if you have, Shion has concern, but, here's the thing, he's concerned about his sister. She dies, it just makes him worse. That doesn't make things better. And above all, she is innocent in this situation. I would say technically it's Satoshi, but I mean, there are concerns about the issue of beating his aunt to death with a baseball bat. But while I'm not trying to encourage people out there to choose the violent path and things, and remember, real life is a little bit more complicated. I do have to say I don't blame Satoshi in any way. Rika, don't give me false hopes. Satoko? Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before. It's already been decided. June 20th, 1982, 8:11 p.m. Satoshi snuck out the window after supper. He heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 o'clock p.m. After the Tanagashi ceremony, there was going to be a raffle drawing. So there were two types of people in Hinamizawa. The people who would go home for dinner, and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There were only those two patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's home. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this, but he kept worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. I don't think it works that way. I think it works the opposite. Not only his running ability, but his vision, his hearing, his senses. That's the worms in your brain, man. All his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. His ki control from Dragon Ball Z. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance, if only when crouching like an animal. It felt strange, as though he had stepped into another world. He had been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. But now he felt as though he had been metamorphosed. I think it should be metamorphosed into a different person. June 20th, 1982, 8:37 p.m. Alright, everyone. I'm going to explain how the raffle works. Please gather round the altar. The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Both the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people to the festival. At first, the prizes were things the committee members had donated, but Oryu, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had them thrown away. Oryu took the initiative and bought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. I mean, we still could have the smaller things as, like, additional prizes. I mean, you didn't just throw the other things in the trash, did you? Oryu was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough, in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so this might be the very first and last raffle. Thanks to you, we have such wonderful prizes this year, Oryu-san. They must have cost a lot, didn't they? We can reimburse you from our budget. Bufoo, no point in reimbursing that. It was never about the money. Idiots. Now, don't say that. We're not trying to be rude. We're just trying to express that we are grateful and that we don't want to just take this for granted. This raffle is all thanks to you, Oryu-san. It's not like I'm doing this all by myself. Don't be ridiculous. The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was having a tough time pacifying Oryu. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody probably got hurt in an accident. What's going on, Makino-san? I hope you're not having a heart attack. Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day there was bad news. Oryu-san, I have unpleasant news, if you don't mind. Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Oryu's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered to her the exact same words Makino told him. Oh dear. This is bad. Ain't unexpected. What happens thrice will happen a fourth time. That's not funny, Oryu-san. You're right, it isn't. It's just another hassle. The police are trying to identify the body. I heard that the face was completely destroyed. So, it'll be difficult. It's quite clear who it is, though. Eh? Do you know who it might be? Oryu glared at Kimiyoshi, then started chuckling. Idiot. It must be some impudent lad who didn't come to the Watanigashi festival. People who respect Oryu Shirosama won't get involved in something like that. Oryu kept laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know exactly how to react to that. Okay, wait a minute. Are you telling me the reason why Satoshi gets punished is because he wasn't at the festival? That's what Oyashiro. That's the problem. So, same thing with Keiichi. The problem wasn't that he beat Teppei to death with a fucking baseball bat. As far as, Skibidi Toilet Sama was concerned, that's fine. He was just pissed that you didn't show up to, the festival. That's the problem in both this timeline and the other timeline, was that we didn't show up to the festival. It wasn't that we, peanut butter jelly time beat the shit out of somebody with a baseball bat. The murder was fine. It was just not showing up to the party. Oyashiro-sama kind of takes his birthday seriously. But I'm just saying this, so let me get this straight. The murder was fine. Oh, the god of Hinamizawa saw no problem with murder. It was the fact that you didn't show up to his party. That's the problem. June 20, 1982, 9 o'clock. I don't know why I keep reading in the ear. It's not like that's changing. This is merciless. Kuma-chan. Every death is merciless unless the dead wished for it. They have my condolences. How's it going over there? Did you find something that could identify the body? The forensics investigators shook their heads. The victim's wearing sandals and casual clothes. They must be from this neighborhood. We should be able to identify the corpse by asking around. That's the way we do it. The section manager says this case might become classified, so be careful with that. Gotcha. Kumagai gathered some officers and gave them directions. Dr. Irie has arrived. Doctor, it's over here. A young doctor got out of his car and headed in the victim's direction. Hello. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I had to help with the raffle. That sounds like more fun than checking a dead body. You must have drunk a lot at the festival, Doctor. We didn't drive here, did we? Are you sure you're sober? Maybe I should run a breathalyzer test on you just to be safe. I'm fine. My assistant is driving. Clever of you. Hey, let the doctor pass. There was an area cordoned off with blue plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi and Irie pass. The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood splatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabetized plates. I'm not used to seeing things like this. Irie took out a handkerchief and covered his nose. You should breathe through your mouth. Well, you might sense the smell visually, though. Nya-ha-ha-ha. The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman. It was soaked in blood. It looked like a middle-aged woman Because of the hair and what she was wearing. It's like, oh, I seem to have found the cause of death. She was middle-aged. The reason why no one could be certain it was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized. This is brutal. I'm sure it was done out of malice or justice, one of those things. The victim must have been murdered right here, judging from the pattern the blood spatters, and the soles of the sandals. I mean, does she still count as a victim? Does she? Does she, though? And even though not many people take this road, the body is right in the middle of it. It's very unusual to see a culprit who would bludgeon their victim until their face was completely destroyed. Also, can you look at her arms? Oishi put on a latex glove and lifted the corpse's arm. See? Spotless, aren't they? Are you saying that the victim didn't try to protect her head? That there are no signs of struggle? Right you are. I think the victim lost consciousness with the first blow, because usually a baseball bat is usually enough to basically kill anyone, because human skulls are not meant to handle, baseball bats. Then the culprit kept beating to complete the murder. I mean, why leave it half finished? The victim was probably lying face down at the time. Judging from the stains on her clothes. On the downside, though, is this. If she lost consciousness with the first blow, then it means she didn't get to suffer. The body is face up now. The culprit seems to have flipped the victim over in order to smash her face, even though by that point her death was certain. Well, I'm pretty sure whoever killed this person, one, there's nothing to gain, so they must have had some reason to be very pissed at this person. So I'd almost feel like, if you're going to be angry enough to go this far, you're going to be angry enough to go the 2 extra steps. Eri looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Oishi's reasoning. Smashing the victim's face is clearly a sign of a grudge, in my experience. It's a very profound grudge, too. That means the culprit must be someone very close to the victim. I understand you didn't call me to resuscitate her. Doctor? Do you know who the victim is? If you do, I don't have to waste time questioning the neighbors. Eri looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, Eri left the investigation area without saying anything. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I don't know. Eh? Are you sure? I'm pretty sure Dr. Eri actually does know. But he wants to give Satoshi a little bit more of a chance of... And even then, let's be clear. Given Dr. Eri's involvement in this situation, it's all the more reason that maybe, Dr. Eri should have noticed what was going on with Keiichi in regards to Satoko a year later. Granted, a different timeline. The Tatara Goroshi timeline, whereas we're in the Watanagashi timeline here. It just Meakashi is the Watanagashi timeline from Shion's point of view. Granted, there are some spots that, Shion wasn't present for that are just here for the sake of me, the viewer. Reader? Yeah. You guys are the viewer. I'm the reader. Are you sure? Oishi smirked and looked into Eri's eyes, as though Eri was hiding something. I'm not hiding anything. Nyahaha, I guess you're still under the influence, Doctor. Maybe you'll remember when you're sober. Let me know if you do. Oishi tapped Eri on the back. In the first stage. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagai returned. Oishi saw the section manager on the radio. The one in the first car. Eri lied. Huh? Nothing. Hurry up and question the neighbors. The victim must be from this area. 9:39 p.m. Here he is. Oishi-san. Thank you for coming here this late at night. I know you have school tomorrow. I'm really sorry to bother you. No problem. Later, guys.